Okay, so what we're going to talk about here is kind of the fundamentals of, the necessary aspects of function, specific to the shoulders and shoulder ability, use, function. So we're going to look at the three pillars, or what I consider to be the three pillars of function. So we have mobility, we have coordination, and then we have strength. And then from there, we can branch out into aspects of stability, and then also mobility and the balance of those things. So if you think about like strength, you want to think about using that more from a source of stability, but there's also elements of coordination there, of course, as well. So it gets a little complicated, but hopefully this video will help you to kind of clarify some of those aspects and sort things out in a way and progress in a way that's beneficial, but also minimizes harm or pain along that path. So here we go. So I'm going to start along the wall here. We're going to look at external rotation and internal rotation of the shoulder. So think about like functional activities, reaching behind your head, reaching behind your back, or in case of like lifting up here. We don't generally do a lot of lifting back here, nor should you. It's not a very good stable position to be doing heavy lifting. That's where people can hurt themselves. So lifting is going to be more up here. All right, so here we go. But we can certainly strengthen in both. So here we go. So I'm going to come over to the wall. So if we think of mobility here, so a couple different ways I can do it. I can move my arm on my body, which is less stable, but I can also move my body on my arm, which is more stable. So I always want to get a sense of stabilizing myself. So I'm going to shift my weight, anchor, stabilize, and now I can move my body. So I can use this wall here, and I can anchor, and I can stabilize. And I can position, I can go up farther if I can do that without pain, but using that stability. Okay, I can also look at the shoulder blade here, and I can pull stabilize even more, and I can get some mobility from my torso and leverage that way, as long as it's not painful. Okay, so stabilize, get the shoulder blade moving on the body moving on itself, like that bra line, and all that while stabilizing the arm. So once I've kind of worked through there, then I can start to coordinate kind of the motion, the movement here. But again, I gotta stabilize. I gotta think about how I'm stabilizing through that whole chain to coordinate through here, depending on the motion here, or if I'm here, kind of more laterally there. Okay, now I can add in like a band, a resistance band to work through those things. Again, being very mindful of how I'm articulating while maintaining stability, very important. Keeping the space open here, keeping the space open there, not pinching or stressing anything there. Okay, do something like this. So this gets pretty tough too, right? But if I'm just looking at, say, my right arm, shift, stabilize, lift, open, and then allow some controlled mobility from my shoulder without doing something like this, and then it's gonna hurt, be painful. So the last thing for that is you can add weight. So if I have a small weight or even a can of soup or something in my hand, water bottle, I can do that against gravity. But if I want to work more on the backside, I'm going to lay flat on the ground or even leaning on a table, and I can do like this. So I'm pulling back here, and then I can work against there as long as it's not painful. Now for the lower part, I can do something similar. I can move my body, I can shift and lift and turn and work my body that way, or I can come across, that's less stable, more leverage, more control, okay? The other thing I can do is I can come, work here, or I can come here, and this is where it comes across my body. So I'm putting that on stretch, stabilizing. I can put one foot forward or the other if I need to, here or here. And then I can take this hand and just gently kind of guide it here, but I gotta lift, support, work that there. Okay, and then again, leaning on a table maybe, or in a full prone position, can go into this. Again, I gotta lift, open, pull that back, and then the elbow out like this, maybe with a weight or band, and then work into there. And then I can kind of put that all together, but it is complicated. There's a lot of elements to juggle, but you wanna make sure you're protecting yourself, minimal pain, not moving too quickly, focus on stability first, and then gently, gradually allow for some controlled movement as you're able, but that should really help it to stick with your brain and to not go back to being tight so readily, and over time getting stronger, more reinforced, and more resilient.